Hi there. I'm Thomas Galligani and I'm from the SDM Foundation. SDM Foundation, making technology easy. I'm here today to talk about one of my favorite subjects and an important subject, security and privacy online. So, we're going to talk about something that's becoming more important every day, privacy and cybersecurity. With data breaches and online scams on the rise, it's essential these days to know how to protect yourself and your data online. This session is going to be practical, straightforward, and designed for the everyday user. Minimal to no tech jargon, just simple steps to keep you safe. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Well, you might ask, what are we covering? Well, we're going to cover stuff like creating strong passwords and not reusing them. I know we all do it. I've done it, but we're not going to do that. Setting up two-factor authentication when possible for extra security. Those are those annoying little codes we all get to our phones, to our emails, but they are important and they do help. We're going to learn how to recognize scam messages, phishing attempts, and fraud. And we're going to try and understand some common scams, from your fake tech support to the common grandparent or mom scam. First on the docket is keeping up to date. So let's start with one of the easiest things you can do to protect yourself, keeping your device up to date. Whether you have a phone, a tablet, a desktop, updates are important. They help fix security holes in your software, they help the apps on your phone work properly, and they block some malicious content. They are always important. The best practice you can do is to turn on the automatic updates. But that being said, it is wise to check for manual updates from time to time. You should also, if you're on Windows, check for optional updates. Refer back to our blog post, Optional Updates, why they're not optional, for other security fixes and things like firmware updates. Now, one that I'm very passionate about that I think everyone should adhere to is change your Wi-Fi name and password. If your Wi-Fi name is Verizon underscore and a string of letters and numbers, that's the default network. And a default network means that you have a default password. And both of those are easily found online. But if I could stress one bullet point here, it's that if your device is outdated and no longer gets updates, it is a major security risk. It is time to replace it, no matter how positively we feel about that machine. On the subject of antivirus, it's your personal radar man. A lot of people ask me, Tom, what kind of antivirus should I have? Should I get Norton? Should I get McAfee? Well, generally, I'd like to tell people that the best thing you can do is use your built-in antivirus. Windows comes with Microsoft Defender, and it is perfectly fine. If you need a little extra security and you feel like Defender isn't catching everything, I would consider Malwarebytes. It is free with paid services. Just use the free version. The free scan's good enough. It can find and quarantine any unwanted programs on your computer and remove them. If you have a Mac, well, you can get malware, but it's a lot less common. Again, install Malwarebytes if you need it. Phones, well, do your best to avoid shady apps. Your apps should come from the App Store, from Apple, or the Play Store, from Google, and that should be the only place that they come from. Any of the shady apps, well, they're malware in disguise. If it's an Android, it could be a home screen that takes over your whole phone. You might not even notice for up to a month. So really, I can't stress enough that the App Store is the only place to get apps on your phone. To tie it up, do you need antivirus? Yes, you do. If you're on Windows, you definitely need antivirus. You should use Defender, and you should use Malwarebytes. Yeah, but for scans only. Let's stick to the free end of things. For Macs, well, no, not really. We don't need it. We just need to keep our Mac updated. What we should be careful about is scam apps and fake pop-ups. Any of those screens that come up and say, your computer is infected. Act now. Here is a timer up in the air. Please observe the counting down timer. Anything like that that is in the imperative, that is telling us we must act now. Well, that's a scam. Nothing is that important. Fact or fiction? Scammers use fear and pressure to trick people. They are often going to text or email you out of nowhere about a problem that doesn't even exist. They will threaten you with act now messages. They will ask you for personal information over email or text. The main thing to really ask yourself is this how they contact me? Is this the way the bank would reach me? Is this the way that any of these institutions would reach me? If this isn't the way that you normally do things and someone is reaching out and telling you you need to do something immediately, well then take a minute, consider, and decide that it's fiction. So next, I'll show you an example of a scam. Here we go. How to check if a message is real. So here are my tips on how to do it. You should always go to the official website. If you're looking for the Massachusetts login.gov website, you should go to login.gov. You should be very careful when you search that site and not just pick the first link. You should check to make sure that that website is the correct one. You should call the company directly if you're not sure, but use the number from their website. And you should always ask yourself, did I expect this message? Is this rote? Is this normal? If it isn't, you should definitely be skeptical. So I would draw your attention up and to the right. Here I have an example of a typical, I guess you'd call this a smishing message because it is an SMS phishing attempt. So it's a text, and here we have Canada Post. Your package has arrived at the warehouse but could not be delivered due to incomplete address information. Please confirm your address on the link. https://post-canada.top/ca. Now, we can see here that, this claims it's from the Canada Post. But if we look up top, it is from Chong Chom at iCloud.com, which is not the Canada Post. So this is a smishing attempt. This is a bad actor pretending to be a service and trying to contact you to get information. So it's important to always take a look at these messages, see where they're coming from, and ask yourself if you expected it. So, on to the subject of passwords and locked notes. Here are my 3 golden rules of passwords. 1. Use a different password for every account. I know it is a lot of passwords. It is annoying, but it is very important for personal security. You should use longer passwords. Things that have 8+ characters or a passphrase. So my example here is, my dog eats $carrots 1955. Now, this is a significantly harder password to crack than if I just use the address of my home, a pet's name, any of those basic security questions that people tend to use as passwords. And the longer the password, the better. Anything less than 8 characters tends to take maybe about a half hour to crack with software. So you want to use something that has variants, a little bit of capitalization difference, a symbol, some numbers. And really, you should turn on 2-factor authentication for important accounts. I know it's annoying to have code sent to our phones all day, but it is helpful and it keeps bad actors out of our accounts. So, the problem with passwords Well, there are too many passwords to remember. We all struggle with this. Writing them down on sticky notes or using the same password everywhere is risky. If one password gets stolen, they all get stolen. And that means all the accounts are at risk. What's our solution? Our solution is using a password manager. Password Manager is just a simple piece of software that stores and encrypts all your passwords in one secure place. It creates strong and unique passwords for every site so you don't have to. It auto-fills the logins, so that's when we tap the text field on our phone and it goes, hey, here's your email and here's your password, so you don't have to type or remember them. And they work across all devices, phones, tablets, or computers. So, some password managers that I'd recommend are for free. Well, there is Bitwarden. There is a free plan for NordPass. Then you have your paid versions like 1Password, Dashlane, the full version of NordPass. And there is the fact that you can save passwords in your browser. But it is less secure. So I would avoid bank info or other VIPs, very important passwords. There is also the Passwords app if you are an iPhone user. It is a built-in password manager that replaced the iPhone keyring, and it is perfectly secure. No reason not to use it. So, one master password to rule them all. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. You should create one strong password to protect your password manager. That's your master password. Gets you into the manager, shows you everything you need. You should use two-factor authentication, i.e. having a code sent to your phone or email for extra security. And remember, if you forget it, your passwords are gone. So store a backup of the master password to be secure, to plan for the future. Another good way to handle this situation is locked notes. Locked notes are an easy way to replicate most of the material conditions of a password manager. So here up and to the right, I have on my iPhone an example note I made for work that I use all the time. So if you take a look, there's a little red circle and it is around a padlock icon. And you can see this is my example note for locking. And right below that is a sentence that says, look above the word for note the unlocked padlock. And to the left, we can see how it originally looked. This note's locked using my face or my passcode. It's an easy solution. On iPhone, you can just use the Notes app to make a lock note, and it is as secure as your device is. So as long as you're using a passcode, as long as you're using a biometric lock like your face or a fingerprint, it is perfectly secure. So cookies, what are they? What do they do? It's a good question. Well, cookies help websites remember you. It's kind of like businessmen exchanging cards. Sometimes they'll keep you logged in, they'll save your preferences. For instance, if I go to Duluth Trading, they know that I enjoy a good flannel shirt, and that can make my browsing easier. No need to enter new details. They know Tom wants a flannel shirt. But they can also track what I click on, and that's why I'm probably going to get an ad for a flannel shirt later because I just said it out loud and my microphone is probably picking it up somehow. So should I clear cookies? Well, yeah, you should. If you want more privacy, it definitely helps. It stops tracking for a bit. Yes, if a website isn't working correctly, clearing the cookies and clearing your history can fix login issues by clearing the cache of information that has previously been stored. But it will log you out of most websites. So please refer back to the section on password managers and why we should use one and have our passwords handy in case we get logged out. So, you want to know how cookies work? It's kind of like this. You ever looked at shoes online? Maybe you're looking for a nice pair of loafers, and then suddenly you're getting ads for loafers, Gibson shoes, wingtips, everywhere. Perhaps not that, but something similar. Well, those are the cookies tracking you. Now, some sites require cookies to work. If you see accept cookies, you can usually click only necessary or allow while using instead of accept all. Now, a good example of this would be something like Amazon.com, Google Maps. They need cookies to know where you are, to know where to ship to give you the basic information you want from these services. In that case, I usually recommend allow while using. They don't need it all the time. It is easier to click all the time, but you can get away with it only while using. Continuing on, internet safety. How to spot a scam online. Not all websites are safe. I think sometimes we labor under the misconception that the internet is sanitized and safe, and for the most part it is. But there are still many bad actors online, and it is still possible to get scammed. So things I would recommend are looking at the full URL. The URL is just fancy tech jargon for the website name. So, ours would be www.sdmfoundation.org. And you want to make sure that the URL is correct to your understanding. You want to make sure that website name is spelled correctly. And if something feels off, go to the website yourself instead of clicking a link. Try typing it in manually. To the right, we have an example of what can happen when you click on one of those bad URLs. You get the old warning, system may have detected viruses on your computer. Here we see a terrifying message with lots of red, plenty of bolded text about malicious viruses. Let's see, what do we got here? rootkit.surff.spy, trojan.fakeavdownload. So, yeah, they just throw in a bunch of random tech jargon that makes you feel scared. Rootkit, oh, it's in the root of your computer. Trojan, it's hiding like a Trojan horse. Your personal and financial information may not be safe. Well, that is true in the sense that if you called this number, your personal and financial information would not be safe anymore. Again, this is just one of those things. Clear the history, ignore it, move on. So, some common internet scams that you will see. Fake USPS and FedEx texts. I get these all the time. Apparently, Customs has delayed a package of mine. I don't know why I would have a package in Customs. It's a scam, that's why. You've won a prize. One of my favorite sayings is, the Robert Heinlein, the moon is a harsh mistress, the motto of the moon. There is no such thing as a free lunch. I find that applies to most things in life. You have not won a prize. You have not gotten a discount. You are not getting free money. No company gives away free money. It's just not how things work. They may, in fact, give you something. I've known a person who has punched in information into a scam site and won a TV. They received a cheap TV in the mail, and while they did receive something, they got an awful lot of personal information off of that person that was worth far more than the TV. And then we have fake bank and PayPal emails. I get these all the time as well, and I get fake bank emails from banks I don't even use. So we should always log in through the site manually. We should never use the link, and if possible, if you're on your phone, use the bank's app. It's a lot more secure. Phishing, spam, and scams. Don't get hooked. So, on the subject of fake emails and messages, here to the right, we get one that I got the other day. Online secure, Wells Fargo's card something something techno jargon. Well, I don't have a Wells Fargo account, so I'm going to ignore it. Also, the verbiage of the text is very screwy. So we can tell that it's probably not real because any company would probably do some spell checking, do a little basic grammar check. Some examples are the fake Amazon and bank emails, the FedEx scams, the grandkid scam or mom scam is a big one. Hey ma, it's me. I need the last four of your social real quick. I got some health insurance paperwork to do. Well, I don't know. Is it your son? Ask them a basic question. If somebody calls up in a big hurry and tells you that they need money or they need information real fast, just check it out. It's probably a scam. And if it isn't, well, then there's time enough to fix it. Tech support scams, huge. Your computer has a virus. Call this number now. 99.9% of the time, nobody is going to help you that way. What they're going to do is they are trying to trick you into giving over remote access of your computer to them. By calling them, they'll have you download a program like Rescue Me or Log Me In, and then they will be in your computer with your information. So we don't want to fall for those. So how should we stay safe? This is a scary world out here. Well, my general rule is that we should stop and think. We should just take a breath and we should think. So here's another message I actually got. This one is directly to me. Pay your fast track lane tolls. I do not remember having gone through a toll road in the past 15 years. So definitely not me. And it's from a plus 63 number, so that is a foreign area code to the United States. I don't think I was anywhere outside the US somehow activating my United States Fast Track for Easy Drive Mass. So even though this message seems scary, if I stop, take a breath, and think, well, it's just nonsense. Nothing to be scared of. Just delete it, report it as junk, move on with my day. Otherwise, let's not click links in emails. Let's just go to the website ourselves if we're not sure. If someone calls saying they need money, verify with a family member first. Can't hurt. And tech companies, Apple, Microsoft, they're never going to call your cell phone about viruses on your computer. It sounds good when they say it to you over the phone, but if you take a minute, you stop, you breathe, you think, it'll feel wrong, because it is. And just always double click before clicking or sending money to anyone. So tech support scams, to drill down a little bit further on them, how do they work? Well, you're going to see a scary pop-up like I showed you. It might even lock the screen so that you can't really do anything and will play an annoying alarm that will drive you nutty. It's going to give you a phone number and it's going to tell you to call for help. But much like in the graphic to the right, it is a scammer behind the curtain trying to get you. So, what happens? Well, what happens is Microsoft, Apple, and Google will never send you these alerts. If a website tells you to call somebody about these alerts, it's a scam, generally. What should you do instead? Well, close the pop-up. Alt F4 out of it if you're on Windows. If it won't work that way, then I suggest you restart your computer, clear your history, and do not, I repeat, do not restore the windows on your browser. That's where it tries to do the nice little thing for you where it shows you where you left off in your web browser. So that's Google Chrome, Safari, etc. You want to clear that history, make sure it's totally wiped out, and do not restore because that little alert lived in your browser. Otherwise, do not call the number that it outputs. And if somebody does call you about this, hang up immediately if you pick up. Otherwise, I would suggest you do not even pick up the phone for these people. It's better that they do not know that there's a live person on the end of that phone number. But generally, it's fine to hang up on them. Other scams you should watch out for. Fake refund scams. This falls under there's no such thing as a free lunch. We accidentally overcharged you. We'd love to send you a refund. Yeah, I'll wait for the refund. AI phone scams. These are a little newer, but they are gaining some traction. You'll get an Apple support call that has a robotic voice that's like, "Hello, we are from Apple. We've noticed there are 72 viruses on your phone." Apple is not going to call you using an AI. That's just the scammer trying to lend more credibility to themselves. And really, the bottom line is if you didn't call for help, don't trust anybody who calls you offering help. Email and text safety. How do we spot a fake email? Well, we should check the sender. Slight variations in the email address. So a good example is instead of Amazon.com at amazon.secure.pay.com may indicate fraud. As always, beware of urgency. Scammers like to pressure you with threats like your account will be locked for 24 hours. Look for typos and grammar mistakes. Legitimate companies should proofread their own emails and avoid suspicious links. Common scams include fake postal service ones, FedEx ones, bank fraud alerts, and urgent IRS and Medicare payments. If you usually get those through the mail and not through the net, then ignore them. What you can do instead. If you're unsure, like I said, go to the official website. Never click the links in the email unless you're 100% sure. If a message says urgent or act now, stop, breathe, and think before clicking. And remember, the banks and IRS and Postal Service will never ask you for your info via text or email usually. So on the right, I have an example of what happens when you search online. I typed in Amazon and I get Amazon.com, our official site, and I get below it Amazon.com. So we never want to take that top link where it says sponsored. We want to go down to the proper website. So we know that Amazon.com is at https://www.amazon.com. So we know that's the right one, so we picked the second one. Generally, my note would be skip the sponsored links. Sometimes they might be right, sometimes they may be hijacked. Privacy and security in apps. What to check? Well, there are a lot of myths, tales, various things that people believe. One of my favorites is I do not give Facebook the right to use my photos, etc., etc. So these are privacy myths. Posting a status will not protect your data. Facebook does not care about this. Engagement hoaxes. People will tell you that copying and pasting posts can change your feed or show more friends' posts. Share this to show you care and get more engagement with me. I don't think I will. If I want more engagement with you, I will engage directly because Facebook, again, does not care about this. Impersonation scams. This is one to be especially wary of. Help! I got locked out of my account messages. You get these through Facebook, through Instagram. Typically, this is a scammer trying to get into your friend's account. And of course, anything that is urgent and monetary. Mom, I lost my phone. Send money. Probably a scam. You should try contacting little Billy, his brother, his sister, family member, figure out if that's actually true. Do not take it verbatim that it is true. Regarding apps, they all want your info, and you should be selective. Some permissions are necessary. Google Maps, well, they need to know where you are. Photo sharing apps, well, they need camera access to upload the pictures. They need that info. And, just to tie it all up, my final thoughts are that security is not a product, but a process. That is a quote by Bruce Schneier, a famous tech expert. And really, it's that no single tool will keep you safe. Good habits and awareness are key. Consistency is important. And as I said, just stop, breathe, and think before you click. Otherwise, thank you. Again, this is Thomas Gallegani from the SDM Foundation, and any questions, or if you want to learn more, get in touch or make an appointment, you can contact us at the SDM Foundation at 406 Main Street in Melrose, Massachusetts, 02176, or you can reach out to us at info@sdmfoundation.org or our website, www.sdmfoundation.org. And thank you and have a good day.